Eric, for your insights. I would now like to call Raj Iyer from Watercorp. Their journey has been very interesting. They were one of the first few WA state government quasi-owned organization to start the journey in automation. And they have all the big wigs from big consulting firms for this. And I think it was done very amazingly well, led by Raj and the team from IT. Over to you, Raj.
I'm not sure if I need a podium, Mohit, for obvious reasons. But good afternoon all. So I'll firstly start with an apology because you're going to have a stiff neck the next 20 minutes because you might not be used to the elevation because simply tall. So good luck to you all. So my name is Raj Iyer, and I work in the Business Improvement Innovation team, and I'm the Continuous Improvement Manager, and it's a privilege to be here sharing insights on the robotic process automation journey at Watercorp. Hopefully I can get this right. So in terms of brief agenda, what I'll be going through is just give you a high-level understanding of who we are, what we do, our corporate vision and goals, our interim structure, what it looks like, inception of RPA, how did RPA come about, which is where we actually met with Mohit and Mindfields, and they actually helped us in that journey. Overview of a COE, so an example of where as one team we can work together for a superior outcome for our customers. That's what I'll be sharing through what we've done in Watercorp. Benefits realized to date. I'm sure Gordon is here. He's going to be asking me what are the show me the money. We'll show you the money as well as along with other intangible benefits as well. The reason I mentioned Gordon because he was part of the RPA journey when we started in Water Corporation. And what's next for us and next steps and sort of call to action or sort of our lessons learned from our journey, which I'll be happy to share with you all. So in terms of who we are, what we do, we are pretty much the principal supplier of water, wastewater and drainage services across Western Australia. Our service and activity spans over 2.6 million kilometers. So it's geographically, you can imagine it's quite complex operations, but we do it reasonably well, I believe. And we are owned by Western Australian government, and our biggest shareholder is our minister. We employ around 4,000 people in Water Corporation, inclusive of contractors as well. And biggest paradox for me was when I came from commercial to a GT company was we spend a lot of money educating our customers not to buy our product, which is an interesting paradox because it helps with the climate. But I'm not sure that it's a good return on investment for the government. But that's what we pretty much deal with in Water Corporation. As you had heard about sprinkler bans, etc., that's pretty much to save on our planet in terms of water usage. Okay, our vision and goals. So Thrive 2035. So this came about our executives were working in the background with some consultants over the last 6 months. And recently, this is what we published as a vision. So our vision is for our people, community, and our owner and a state to thrive. And we've come out with a 13-year vision, which is fantastic. And our goals are, which is pretty much on everyone's radar, is net reduction in greenhouse emissions, which is top on the radar for us. At the back end sits the objectives behind this, which I won't be sharing today. It's just high level what the goals look like. Secondly, safety, which is prominent for every company as well, making sure we are having safe operations for our customers, community, and our employees as well. Local solutions in partnership with our communities, so working across the regions, working across different parts of the business in partnership, solving the problem as per their needs. Water services partnership, so we become the choice in terms of state development, and people are not thinking about setting their own diesel plants. They automatically come to Watercorp saying, we need your services, how can you help us? The last two is where RPA, in my view, plays a critical part. So one is we've got a strong vision, aspire to get to 2035. We need to self-fund, we need to save to spend for that great vision because we need to be spending money, but the affordability, inflation prices going up, global supply chain disruption, we need to be efficient and effective. And that's where RPA is one lever we can pull to make sure workforce is more productive, efficient as well. And the last one is empowerment. So making sure employees and our people are pretty much delivering best performance. And we are raising the standard of performance to good from good to great. So as I speak, this is our interim structure. The reason I say interim is because we've been moved. We used to be under Strategic Performance Group. That's been collapsed, and that's now called as Growth, which aligns with a vision where we need to be bold, we need to be doing things differently. That's the reason that team has been set up. And Transformation Office is where we've been moved under Business Improvement Innovation. So currently we are going through a bit of a structural conversation, but at this stage, this is what the interim structure looks like, where you can see at the top is the core business, and for IT people in the room, probably enabling services sits at the bottom, because those are the services we need for the core business to sustain and be more efficient and effective. So how did RPA come about? Within Water Corporation, we've got a Lean Six Sigma program, which we start with practical problem solving. So as part of that, in 2018, we had a couple of SMEs from finance who we actually trained, coached, and mentored to finish an initiative. So they optimized their financial process as much as they could. But to unlock further value, we had to tap onto technology. That's where we went up to IT. We tried to get a quote, which was about 150K, and it was about 12 months down the lane. And we had a very willing CFO. He said, I'm not going to wait for that long. Let's look at, I've heard about a few things, let's look at RPA as a solution. So that's when the inception of RPA came through. What we did was a proof of concept for those two ideas. We engaged with a different service provider, and we did that in a sandpit environment. And the results were quite astonishing. I still remember the CFO saying, you've given me a Mercedes, you parked in my garage, but haven't given the keys, because we couldn't put it in production. And that's when we realized we need to have a Centre of Excellence, because we need to have a robust governance, prioritization, and benefit realization. And that's how we came across Mindfields. We went to the market looking for players who can help us build together a robust structure, governance, before we actually embark on the RPA program. So that's where we partnered with Mindfields. Then we put a business case together for approval, basically saying this is the structure we want to go with, which I'll share with you shortly what that structure looks like. And we said there's about 12 to 15 ideas across the corporation where we can actually go and deliver some value and create a RPA footprint. So that got approved. And then that's when we again partnered with Mindfields, and we looked at about 12 to 15 processes across the corporation, ranging from finance to customer billing to HR as well. So we did that for about 9 months, and it was pretty much time to plan for sustainability, because we were working as a project for about 9 months. Yes, there were a lot of lessons learned as well for both the parties, but as part of that, we said it's time to pretty much transition into BAU and build the COE as a function. And that's what pretty much we did in 2020. So we put together the BAU structure for COE, which has been enduring for the last 3 years. And what that structure looks like is pretty much a joint collaboration between my team and IT group. So what the role of the COE is pretty much at a high level is to review the pipeline of ideas, prioritize, and remove any roadblocks as they come throughout the course of the ideas. So we've got one developer in IT, and I've got a team of Lean Six Sigma specialists who pretty much do the front bit, which I'll take you through shortly. So at a high level, that's what the process looks like for our RPA journey perspective. We do some sort of ideation, identification. We do a high-level assessment of what that are. So we do the current process map as is, understand where there's opportunities where we can just streamline the process as opposed to automating it. Then we standardize it, and then we work with IT and partner and deliver. So IT pretty much picks that, delivers, then there's a go live, and then pretty much transition to BAU. So CI team, which is my team, as I said, pretty much does the front-end loading, and then IT comes in and delivers, and they've got their own testing methodology, et cetera, which they go through. The other vital bit, I think I was speaking to Andrew, was more about benefit validation. So we have a forecast, and once the bot goes in production, my team goes in at the back end after 6 months or 3 months and seeing whether we actually realize the benefit, which was the forecast, which we said in the business case we'll achieve. So far, reasonably, it's been working quite well in terms of what we say is a forecast and what the actual benefit looks like. At the bottom of the screen, I just wanted to highlight why it's important, why COE doesn't sit in IT. The reason being because we want, there could be different avenues in terms of how you approach a particular idea. I think Daniel said it before, if you have got a hammer, everything will look like a nail. And that's not something we believe in. We said, let's look at the idea, and there are different levers we can pull. RPA is one of the tools which will help you streamline the process, but there are other things you can do, which is pretty much illustrated in the picture. So yeah, it's working quite reasonably well. It's quite a collaborative exercise, and the business is seeing benefits from what we've done to date. So in terms of, we've got 15 pretty much virtual workers working 24/7 relentlessly. We didn't even have to check their vaccine certificates last time, so they are all good, even during pandemic time. We didn't have that issue. So if you think about performance and more from a dollar perspective, which I didn't share the commercials, but you can see from 2020 to where we are, it's actually gone up, and that tells us that we are probably on the right journey, and we are working with the SMEs, and they are getting a bit more understanding of what RPA provides to them, and that's resulting in an uplift in from a dollars perspective, and also from a labor hours, which has been freed up, which is quite amazing to see. Other bits which are equally important as well, which you all agree would be the intangible benefits, and I'm sure there's plenty, but I wanted to name about 4, which is quite relevant to what we do in Watercorp, is the enhanced workforce capability. So we've got one person, I think Brenton is here from procurement, he's a client. We've got one person within his team, or a couple of people within the team who are yellow belt, who pretty much have the Lean Six Sigma experience, and now they can actually do sort of incremental bot development as well, along with IT as a partnership. So that's great to have people are picking up new skills, and they are doing things which they haven't done in the past.
Can talk about what the bot can and can't do. So they're able to, when people come to them and say, we want a bot to do this, they can straight away go, no, it can't, it's not capable, this is the best way. So having that knowledge within my team of the bot, they don't do the programming, but they understand it and how it works, is very helpful.
Thank you, Brendan. I'll shout you a coffee tomorrow. Sorry. The second bit, which is quite important, is the standardized documented processes. So Brendan would agree with me as well. There's lack of documented processes across the corporation, and RPA is a good sort of a tactical tool that helps you map the current process, identify where there are inefficiencies and what we can do better to streamline the process. So that's an added bonus. Enhanced employee work-life balance. So we had a couple of opportunities that came through where we had specialized resources working over the weekend, because that's how the process works. We actually had to put a bot in, and that helps with their work-life balance, because they don't have to come in over the weekend or work from home over the weekend to process some of the activities they used to do. And of course, enhanced data quality and pretty much and the accuracy as well, because there's less manual interpretation. Bot does it quite well, and it's quite reliable as well. On top of that, which is the cream on the top, is the demand. So I haven't shared with you, but in terms of what that looks like, we've got an emerging demand for more bots to be deployed. The reason being people are now a bit more aware, and SMEs can see the benefit. So we are in a unique situation where we've got less resources and we've got more to achieve over the next 6 months, so which is a great place to be in. So we are working through some options, what that looks like. But again, we went slow rather than going fast. And now we can show the value to the CFO saying we need more people, because that's going to help us in terms of getting more commercial outcome, which aligns with our vision. So what's in the horizon for us? One of the things we've been looking at, and Brendan's team does it quite well, is sort of the hub and spoke. So transitioning to a more citizenship model where we can empower the SMEs to develop their own bots, depending on the size, small, medium, large, and IT, one person can actually help them coach and mentor. That's something we've been considering, and that's something we'll be looking at over the next 6 months. The next one is we are exploring some process transformation tools, which gives you an end-to-end understanding of where the bottlenecks are within the process and see where we can release capacity to help with other strategic priorities. So process mining tools, Signavio, etc., is something we'll be closely looking at over the next 6 months. And hopefully out of that will come out end-to-end automation opportunities. So RPA, as you know, is sub-task optimization, but I'm quite keen on looking at end-to-end automation where you've read a meter to when we bill the customer or when we receive the bill is something we'll be looking at in the foreseeable future. And hopefully the process mining tool is going to give us those insights. So in terms of call to action from our journey at Watercorp has been these 5 things which I wanted to share with you all. So go slow to go fast. I remember when we were putting the business case together, we had to get an ROI of 2 to 3 years, but we had a very good CFO. He was more about employee satisfaction, having a good work-life balance. So we didn't really push that hard in terms of getting more dollars across the line. It was more about let's build the footprint, and hopefully that will create traction, and that's what we are seeing now. So the key lesson for us was go slow and go fast rather than going too hard to get a commercial outcome. Second, which I use quite well with my team, is excellence equals quality of solutions by acceptance of people, which is the theme today, is do it with the people, then do it to the people. You can imagine you can put in the best solution in the world, which might be a multiplier of 10, but if you have acceptance of 2, you'll only get a 20, as opposed to acceptance of 8 against a technical solution of 5 that goes to 40. So it's a simple equation, and I believe that's something which has worked quite well. It's how do we get people on the journey and how do we demonstrate the value, because it's their idea and it's their time which is going to help free time for them. Building capability is something we are a strong believer in Water Corporation, so we don't want to keep the skill sets with us. We want to pass those skill sets on, i.e. like the hub and spoke is something we've been thinking of. So have a think about what capability do you want in the organization and how do you pass those skill sets on. The next one, which has been quite unique for us, is publish or perish. So I always say to my team, it's not about marketing, but it's about publishing what footprint we've got within the corporation from an RPA perspective, what value people are seeing, because that's going to create more awareness and more education for others as well. So that's we've got it on a visual management board every time as a reminder that we need to publish, or otherwise we won't exist. And the last one is robust governance and benefit realization process. So through Mindfields work, COE has actually given us that structure, and now it's working quite well. We all understand our roles. We know where we fit in. We know it's a collaborative exercise, but we work with business SMEs, engage with the likes of Brenton and other team members, and make sure the benefits, what we said is what we'll achieve. We actually do that at the end of the journey, or pretty much the deployment of the robotic process automation solution. That's pretty much all I had today. So thank you all for listening. Sorry? Right person for the right job. Everyone. Somehow, if everyone can fit into the photo, that would be great. I don't know how it's working. I'm not sure. Oops, sorry.
One more. 3, 2, 1. Awesome.
Thanks, Raj. I remember setting up the COE for Watercorp. Got quite bureaucratic, so it was a good lessons learned for us how to do a COE for a more structured organization, and it was very done very structuredly to make sure that we are not overlapping of the responsibilities and duties in a very structured environment. And I remember the CFO making the promise to the finance minister of W at that time, before the COVID happened, that they will make the terms of payment dearer for the SMEs. And remember, Brenton was leading the procurement. And I'm meeting you for first time today, Brenton, but I remember that use case. And I think within 2 or 3 days or 5 days, we did that automation where all the SMEs were given much more better payment terms. And I think one of our team members got award, and it was mentioned in the parliament also, what you were told. So I think this was a very good example of responsible automation we did maybe before COVID. And I think it is not important that you are from a government sector or non-government sector. It is how you're helping the human beings in each of the sector by using automation is more important. And very good journey with you guys. We learn a lot because we